So you are
Colby Spence.
Colby Spence, and what do you do?
I'm a photographer.
Excellent. Do you sell your images? What do you do with that?
I work as a freelance photographer,
Okay.
and I take imagery for people, for companies, for groups.
Okay. So who do you say is your target audience? So like gender, age type of client generally?
I'm really not picky. It's not a particular gender or anything. It's the subject content is really what I'm after. I like motion.
You do seem to have a very wide variety.
Yeah, it's everything. It's been real estate, it's racing, drifting, sports. It really doesn't matter who I'm shooting for. It's the subject at the end of the day that I'm really interested in capturing.
Do you have a home-based or commercial-based business, and why? I guess you'd be more commercial or freelance?
Yeah, it's not really a home or I guess it's commercial-based, as in you're working for the people where they are.
Right.
But it's not in an office, and it's not in a building. It's real estate's whatever home that they ask you to shoot. Hockey is wherever the event is.
Right.
And I'm starting to dabble into equine, horse racing.
Okay.
And same thing, that's wherever the race is, and that's all across Manitoba.
And then when you have to do like your editing or phone calls, that's just from home?
That's
generally?
at home, yeah. That's on the Hackintosh, built up in the bedroom.
I guess you'd be a sole proprietor to your
100%.
business? Yeah. You don't have do you ever have anybody helping around?
I do have a buddy. His name's Alex James. He used to work at Don's Photo. That's how we met back in the day. And now he's become a really good friend. He does a lot of autocross, a lot of racing as well, snowboarding, skiing. We get along pretty well. But I consider him my alternative, my backup. And when I'm not able to attend a hockey game, he covers for me. If I'm out of town and I can't shoot rumors, he'll pitch in for me and cover the comic of the week.
Okay, cool, nice. If you had to pick 3 factors you love about your business or what you do.
I love the creativity. I'm really happy to say that every shot I take is trying to be better than the last one. And if you don't challenge yourself, what the hell are you doing? You're just using the camera as a tool. Being able to visit new places as an excuse. Like, people are like, oh, I want to go on an adventure or a vacation. And how do they decide? Oh, Disneyland, that's fucking boring. No, pick a spot on the map. There we go. I haven't shot in Utah in a long time. Let's go to Utah. It's just an excuse to go somewhere cool and do something cool. The creativity. An excuse to travel. I guess meeting people. I'm not a big people person, but you can surround yourself with like-minded friends. And that's really a big thing. So you get people with good vibes everywhere you go if you're kind of on that same wavelength.
What would you say is an area in your business or photography that you wish you could improve on?
People, also.
In what way?
When I first started shooting, a mom reached out to me, and it was right before Christmas, and one of the gifts she wanted to get her kid was photos of him skate. I think it was right before the snow fell, so let's say October. She wanted to get him pictures of him skateboarding, dipping into the bowl and everything, and that aligned with snowboarding and all the stuff I was shooting at that time. God, must have been 10 years ago at least. And did the shots. I thought they were pretty okay, and then that tied into a little bit of a family shoot, and then she refused to pay, and it just soured my taste of people. In the way, complete contrast to what I like about meeting people is shooting people comes with such expectations, weddings, high-profile events like that. And then you get a bridezilla or just a Karen, for a lack of a better term, who I don't know, again, it just soured my taste. I didn't shoot people for a long time and really stuck to motion because of it, and stuck to sports and I guess more candid work, pet photography, real estate, things that weren't faces. I'd just like to get better at people. Get better at shooting people. And the latest thing I've really picked up is rumors, comedy. Mm-hmm. And that's really, again, not a lot of big people shots in my lifetime. And when I started there, all of a sudden, taking off. And you're shooting a different person every night, up to 3 or 4 comics. Kind of forces you into that, to learn the faces, learn the poses, learn the angles, deal with really harsh light. And that's been a real game changer, and I've kind of been forced to step back into portraits a little bit because of it, because people can see that I can do it, so now they're asking. Yeah, people.
What motivated you to start freelancing and kind of a bit being your own boss for the photography part? What was the start of that?
This goes way back. When I was in high school, I had a photography teacher who inspired me, and he did a lot of freelance work. And great work, a lot of graphic design too, but a lot of freelance photography on this side. Throughout our studies in high school, which then kind of led into my own little exploration, I really wanted to be a photojournalist. Got to go on a ride along with Boris Minkovich, who was from the Free Press at that time. And it wasn't even freelance or really anything that I wanted to be a sole proprietor. I wanted to be a photojournalist. Then you get into the industry and you realize that that's a dying trade. You can't become a photojournalist anymore. The papers are kind of winding down. It's not an opportunity. And those who are photojournalists are all freelance photographers. They're not giving up their spots. It's very tough to break into an industry that's very selective. Photography used to be an art, something that people had the skill, the know-how, and now everyone's got a digital camera with professional mode. Very easy to slap something on and just go take a shot, and it's even easier to give it to the reporter who's already there. Saves on money. So it kind of forced my hand that I wanted to be a photojournalist, but it just wasn't the right time, wasn't the right place. And then I ended up going through Red River, and it wasn't to learn how to be a better photographer initially, but it did teach me a lot of things, a lot of ways to deal with light, a lot of ways to be in the studio and deal with people, deal with posing. The art nudes I could forego, but the rest of it was really good. And yeah, the opportunity that Rodney was able to provide me with through Illegal Curve to shoot a moose game was really what started the whole, okay, let's try this on my own and see where it can go. And I even like to say he was a pretty valuable person in the development of where I am today.
If you could go back in time, would you do anything different when you started out freelancing or anything on that?
As much as I hate it, video, exactly what you're doing right now. Video is a really good way to study beautiful photography. You can see those lines, those transitions.
Do you have any future goals for your business or your freelancing?
This one should be easy.
I think you got a nice goal behind you, I'd say.
She's not too bad. But no, a goal as far as photography, I thought a team photographer would be really cool. The jets, bombers, and I've applied a few times and gotten the runner-up a few times. But I really wanted to be a team photographer back when I realized that sports were kind of where I was going. And then you realize the demands, you realize the lack of money, and you can't do everything just to make coin. I think being a team photographer would be something that'd still be really, really cool to do. The access and the opportunities you get creatively, the locations you get to go, the travel you get to do, that's neat. In its own right, I guess in my personal would be that something that I'd be working towards, but haven't gotten anywhere close yet, would be something to do with wildlife. Not like a Nat Geo photographer now, because they're very much tied to conservation efforts, which is important. But it's more so about social media presence, awareness, and pushing what the publication wants. I'd really like to do something maybe guiding related in the field.
If you weren't into photography, what would you want to be doing? What would you divert yourself to if it wasn't photography?
Oh, I'd be a snowboard bum.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'd be out in the mountains. That was the calling. I taught for 8 seasons at Spring Hill. Would be a snowboard bum, 100%. Out there, couch surfing, barely maintaining reality.
If you had a piece of advice to give to the students and me and just upcoming photographers, what would that be?
I think it would be summed up as what I said to you before. Don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. Do what interests you, do your style, do what you want for you first, and the rest of it will come. If you're decided, I'm gonna be a portrait photographer, but you don't like people, why are you doing it? You got to find the passions and the creativity and find what talks to you within the niche of photography, within those mediums. And you just need to do it for you. Otherwise, you're never going to enjoy it. It's going to be work, and it's not going to be fun. It's just fun, and that's really what it should be about.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.